one.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pinche Gringo Show. We have a great program for you tonight. We have the toughest and possibly the strongest guest we've ever had on the show. Well, maybe the ambassador came with the toughest jacket we've ever had. Hashtag ambassador jacket. Am I ever going to make that hashtag famous? And Economic Secretary Ildefonso Guajardo probably had the toughest economic policy. But tonight's guest is two-time UFC World Heavyweight Champion Cain Velasquez, who's said by some to be the greatest mixed martial arts fighter of all time. But we're going to get to know a little bit more about the softer side, the pussycat of Cain. He's an amazing guy, so please stay with us. But before we get to the fun stuff, let's talk first about what in a rapidly developing story is becoming a great threat to safety and stability in the United States. It may become more catastrophic than COVID, more difficult than the crumbling economy, and worse than eating 10 bags of the red panditas. Because trust me, the red ones are like 3 times better than the rest, like green wakala. But seriously, we need to talk about the increasing unrest in the United States and the possibility that this can get much worse very, very quickly and lead to a widespread conflict. This has become a fierce battle between the left and the right-wing ideologies, clashing right before the 2020 election. This conflict isn't new. It's been happening in the history of civil society. Because basically, in this conflict, those who believe in equality and fairness versus those who stand for individual liberty and free will. Others have betrayed this conflict as the changing and more diverse population of mixed races, colors, genders, and immigrants versus straight white men and their white wives who are defending their dominance over American society that has lasted for the past 243-year history of the United States. This is the picture, but what is happening today has everything to do with this conflict. Remember the shootings of George Floyd earlier this summer, compounded by the shooting of other Black men and women by law enforcement agents? Last week, a Black man named Jacob Blake was shot right in the back 7 times. And this is unbelievable. And the Wisconsin has laws permitting you to carry a gun in the open. Although to be fair, children under 18 are not allowed to openly carry weapons in public. I'm sure someone with the National Rifle Association is like, how are we not allowing a 12-year-old to hold a gun? It's ridiculous. What will happen to poor Johnny if he's walking home from school alone at night and a bad guy drives up in an ice cream truck giving out free snow cones? How will Johnny defend himself without a gun? And this is because 2 days after the crisis, a man named Kyle Rittenhouse shot 2 bystanders just point blank. So these are the crazy things that are happening now. Tensions are rising, especially in cities like Kenosha and in Portland, where protests are continuing. Today, a United States congressman, someone who is currently in elected office, serving the people, said this: America is being manipulated into a new era of government control. Your liberty is threatened from within. Welcome to the front lines, ladies and gentlemen. I suggest you get your mind right. I'll advise when it's time to gear up, mount up, and roll out. Now, gear up isn't what your best friend from a secundaria says to you at a 3 a.m. at any Mexican wedding. Don't pass out, Dan. Take the foam hat they're passing out, dance to Luis Miguel, and make sure you survive into the chilaquiles. I wish it meant that. But this congressman means is to get your guns. And trust me, the people he's talking to are very well armed. Now, of course, the right and the left have their candidates in the upcoming election. The left supporting Joe Biden, the right standing up by their man, President Trump. The Democrats have had their turn to present their arguments, and the Republicans took their turn in their convention last week, and they had this to say.
Don't let the Democrats take you for granted. Don't let them step on you. Don't let them destroy your families, your lives, and your future. Don't let them kill future generations because they told you and brainwashed you and fed you lies that you weren't good enough.
That was Kimberly Guilfoyle, Trump's son's girlfriend, or how us Mexico call it, nuera. Like, even if you've been dating for just a month or even a week, Doesn't matter. You are now part of the family. You are now nuera. But really, making it certain that Democrats will destroy your lives. She got louder and more passionate as the speech went on.
Ladies and gentlemen, leaders and fighters for freedom and liberty and the American dream, the best is yet to come.
No mames. But who stole the show was Mark and Patricia McCloskey, who famously pointed guns at protesters on their front lawns in a Missouri suburb during a recent protest, claiming that they were protecting their home.
These radicals are not content with marching in the streets. They want to walk the halls of Congress. They want to take over. They want power. This is Joe Biden's party. These are the people who will be in charge of your future and the future of your children.
They're not satisfied with spreading the chaos and violence into our communities. They want to abolish the suburbs altogether.
All right, listen, if someone came up to me and told me they wanted to abolish the suburbs of Coapa or Satélite in Mexico City altogether, maybe I'd listen. But this is really strong rhetoric. Trump's wife, Melania, joined the program on Tuesday night, looking like she just auditioned for a part in a Fidel Castro biopic. Wrong graphic, Hector. That's not the graphic. Then on Thursday night, it was Trump's turn. And look, I want to offer you a very honest and unbiased look at both sides, right? I mean, this is a show in Mexico. We want to offer everybody both sides so you can hear from it. But first, you have to know that he did his speech in front of the White House. And this was unprecedented because by law, federal government employees may not be involved on official duty and campaigns. Mexican law makes this very clear, and until this week, U.S. law has done the same. But he set this up right in front of the South Lawn. And then also, if he was honest, then okay, we can consider a differing opinion about the government, right? It's two sides. He thinks one way and someone says the other. But this speech was full of lies and distortions and was dark to scare people of a potential Joe Biden presidency.
The Biden plan would eliminate America's borders in the middle of a global pandemic. And he's even talking about taking the wall down. How about that? Biden is a Trojan horse for socialism, immediately releasing 400,000 criminals onto the streets and into your neighborhoods. The left will defund police departments all across America. No one will be safe in Biden's America.
Wow. Seems like according to Trump, you better also hide your wife and your kids from Crazy Joe. So you see the pattern? The convention was extremely dark, and it seems that their strategy is to scare the living daylights out of white suburban voters, especially focusing on women, that people who don't look like them are going to invade their neighborhoods, force them to speak other languages, and the worst that can possibly happen, force you to eat your tacos with soft corn tortillas instead of the American favorite, crispy taco shells with American cheese and lettuce. Que horror. So we think, okay, maybe this is just due to the upcoming election. And maybe when the election is over, everything will calm down and the US will return to normal. Unfortunately, that is getting less likely every day because the president is actively questioning the legitimacy of the election that his own government oversees, saying that because Americans can now mail in a vote due to COVID, there will be massive fraud. So to sum it up, if Trump wins, a lot of people and probably the world will be very mad and almost absolutely question the results, that there is some sort of fraud with the Russians, voter disenfranchisement, while Trump supporters will join the president in his rhetoric and force to delegitimize the election results with accusations of voter fraud and illegal votes. And many of these guys are heavily armed. And if not, they can just go to Walmart and buy a semi-automatic rifle in minutes. So Mexico, I'm a bit worried. You should be too, because we know that what happens in the United States always has an effect on Mexico. It just seems like a powder keg is waiting to explode. But there is hope. Hope that the Americans that are voting make the best choice decisions and make sure to put people in power that are able to unify the country and diffuse the tension. Stay tuned, because we may be witnessing the start of something far more worse than COVID-19. But in a complete 180-degree turn to lighter news, please, Uber announced this week that they will require some riders to take a photo before their ride to ensure their mask is on if a driver had previously reported that a rider was not wearing their mask in the car. Hey, cool, said every Gen Xer. I got to take a selfie. And I'm actually relieved that it's that, and it's not based on your Uber score, because I don't get it. My score is 4.54. I don't get what have I done to the drivers? I bring them flowers. I bake them cookies. I buy them dessert. And I invited you to my 4th of July party with the Nissan Sentra license plate GBE454. You told me you were going to be giving me a 5, and you did. But no 2020 news program is complete without the mention of our favorite topic, COVID-19. And for many Americans watching, it's important to hear the truth. I'm tired of the phone calls from the US. Danny, I saw on TV that everybody's dying in Mexico. The truth is, yes, Mexico is number 4 in the world in the number of deaths. And I just want to take a special thanks to India. Well, not thank you, but I'm sad that India surpassed us. So India is number 3. Now we're number 4. Like top 3 is really shitty, right? You don't want to be in the top 3. 4 is a little less shitty. But however, there's some good news that things appear to be starting to improve for now. The Mexican government on Friday announced that the changing of the COVID-19 street light system in 9 states from orange to yellow light, meaning the virus is still around, but you can go to a bar, you can go to a stadium, you can go to a plaza to celebrate your favorite patron saint. My favorite's Christopher, by the way. I'm a fast driver, so I love Christopher. But if you want, you can go to Sonora now, where you can see a couple of deserts, have a big fat cowboy steak, and maybe some baseball. Or you can check out Oaxaca, where the best cheese is just called cheese. You can go to Tlaxcala now. In 1 minute, you're in Semáforo Amarillo, and then the next, you're back in Puebla, and it's orange again. And finally, our beautiful state of Tamaulipas. So great. Tomorrow, to get out of this crazy orange light situation, I'm going to fly to Ciudad Victoria and spend the weekend in its vibrant nightlife and bar scene. Wait, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm sorry. It's so safe. But go to Victoria if you can, because they're in a yellow light situation. But in the really good news, I've been going to one of the all COVID hospitals since April to deliver sandwiches. And every week I've asked one of the volunteers who received the sandwiches how things are going. Every time things were getting worse. But this is what she said last week.
Creo que tiene que ver también con que los médicos saben tratar mejor, ya saben a lo que se enfrentan, sabemos manejar mejor a los pacientes, aunque sigue habiendo muchos contagios, pero se está manejando de mejor manera.
This is great news, right? Like the hospitals aren't so crowded, things are going down, things are quieting down a little. But what is most interesting is that people have started to buy massive amount of plants in the city. Months ago, it was toilet paper and disinfectant, but now people in the nation's capital are going nuts and buying houseplants in massive numbers, and they're calling it biophilia, which is causing long lines in nurseries all over the city. In Colombia, for example, there is a massive rage for sex toys. So hot, Colombia, just thinking about Colombia buying sex toys. And in Belgium, the government urged its citizens last week to buy more French fries to support the nation's potato farmers. By the way, the Belgians claim to be the ones who invented French fries, but the American soldiers who discovered them thought they were actually in France and not in Belgium. So, ladies and gentlemen, just another example of gringos screwing up geography to alter world history. For example, as a representative of Pinche Gringos in Mexico, I want to apologize to Spain for calling it the Spanish flu. And I want to apologize to the entire North, South, and Central America for calling Americans Americans. But let's get to what probably most of you are waiting for tonight. We have with us tonight on this show, UFC fighter Cain Velasquez. Cain started out in collegiate wrestling, then to MMA, rising quickly in the ranks until he won his 2 heavyweight championships. He was born in Salinas, California, but his dad is from Sinaloa. And Cain has emerged as an important figure in not only the Mexican-American community, but also followed and loved by many here in Mexico. He retired from UFC last year and started getting involved in our favorite pastime, Lucha Libre. So our Pinche Gringo Show correspondent, Javier Negrete, went around Mexico City to see if he could find somebody that can challenge Cain in a fight. Let's see what he came up with.
We are in Mexico City, aka Chilangoland. This time we have a super special guest on the show. So we're here to find how good are throwing punches and that stuff. So this is why my friend Casey is right next to me.
Hi!
So come to see.
Sí, y el, yeah, last one. Yeah. Woo! Nice. Sí. Uno, dos, tres.
So, Casey, what do you think about the results?
I would say that the people of Mexico City have good intentions and a lot of heart, and that's what matters.
Thanks for seeing. See you next week.
Right, so please welcome on the show the one and only Cain Velasquez. Cain, how are you doing today?
Hey, what's up, Dan?
Are you just overwhelmed by what just happened? What do you think, Cain? Anybody match you? I don't think so. Javier, what do you think? No. We tried to find someone in Mexico City, but
I can't hear you.
yeah, I can hear you fine.
Can you hear me?
Hear you perfectly. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Can't hear me. What's going on?
I can read your
Hector,
lips.
what's up? Okay, let's read my lips. I don't know. Can you turn the volume on in your I don't know. Why don't we do this? Why don't we go to Lila?
I can't hear you, but if you put any questions on the chat, maybe.
Okay. Well, why don't you just talk about your career?
Do you want me to just talk?
Uh-oh.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. For me, it's just the things that I want to do. Me being Mexican-American, and I've always had a strong tie for things over in Mexico. So for me, growing up, having that strong tie, I love that I get to do things over there. That I get to do, like, I would like to do more things that I want to do as far as like business goes over there, as I just feel just very passionate about it, and I've grown to love it. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always loved going to Mexico, and I think it's even grown a lot more. The passion that I have, my heart has gotten bigger for the country. I met a lot of great people, a lot of great friends. So yeah, for me, it's just a blessing, you know, when you get to do things that you really love. And obviously for me, going over there, and as far as anything, you know, meeting people like you as well that are doing great things in the community over there. You know, I got to just recently live a lifelong dream of doing lucha, being a part of AAA and also Triple Mania. It's just something that I didn't even believe would happen in the way that it did. To go in there and to wrestle my first show in Triple Mania, obviously, is just a great deal. So how does being Mexican American affect me in the UFC? I think it's affected me really well. Again, having those strong ties for Mexico as a little kid, and you know, my parents being Mexican, in the UFC. When I was starting there wasn't a lot of Mexicans in the UFC fighting, so they obviously needed to pick someone, and the people I would say picked me. Obviously, because I went out there and won, you know, being a 2-time UFC heavyweight champion, I get it, but all that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't in my heart in the first place. You know, if people would smell that right away, that if I wasn't 100% sincere. So being able just being the guy to go out there and win and get those belts, and to represent Mexico in the way that I did, I think that went a long way. So I'm just extremely proud of that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, if you can take a look at the chat. Unfortunately, guys, we're having a
I can hear you
technical
now.
difficulties.
I can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me now?
There you go. Yep.
Oh, awesome, Kane. I don't even know what this is strange. I'm sorry for the technical difficulty. That's what happens on live TV. But I'm so glad. And yeah, and it just, I mean, it must be really inspiring as becoming a leader in the community, because there's not there should be more Mexican Americans that are coming out on TV and doing great things and being leaders in the community. So how does that affect what you do every day, knowing that there's a lot of people, a lot of Chicanos, right, in California that really look up to you as a role model?
For me, it's just a great feeling, you know, that like I just feel really blessed to be in that position, and you know, I don't even know how that happened. You know, it was just more of the hard work and the sports and everything that brought me out there. But I just live my life in the way that I want, and if it's a great example to people, then so be it. You know, and I love being that person. You know, like I'll do it to the best of my ability forever. It's just like you said, there isn't a lot of us doing it. For whatever reason, maybe people don't believe that they can, but everyone can. You know, we all could do it. So again, just feel really blessed, and man, we're gonna continue to do this, baby. You know, keep going up and up, and continue to do this, and continue to do great things in this world. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, Kane, you made transition to doing things in Lucha Libre. And of course, Lucha Libre is a Mexican institution. It's a pastime. It's something that Mexicans are very proud of. How was that transition, and what was your experience in getting involved in that?
My transition, my experience was just it was a very quick ride to again to doing the first show that I did for Triple Mania, for AAA. It was just almost like more so like a lifelong dream that I've had to do that, you know, as a kid, being a fan, and then finally getting the opportunity to go and wrestle for AAA. It was more of like something that I had to like check off my list more so. But in doing so, in the short time that I did that first match, it just opened my eyes to it. You know, it was almost like I thought I knew what it was, and as I started training, I trained with when like Psycho Clown really brought me in and really just like showed me the way. You know what I mean? Like it opened my eyes to how great the sport is, how passionate people feel about it, the history about it. You know, I almost didn't know going in, but just the whole experience and just all the different guys and all the different characters that they play, and they get who the guys are. It's just like there's so much talent that these guys have. It's incredible, and girls as well.
I mean, it's an art form. Like you had to practice. I remember when you were here a couple of months ago, you really needed to train for this. Like, well, what are the different elements of Lucha Libre that you needed to learn to make that transition?
Well, it's more so of just being in the moment, I guess, and in a different way. You know, in the fight game, we're obviously not practicing. You know, we're not working with someone to make something great. It's more so, yes, there's somebody there, but we're on our own path in that moment. Like we're doing our own thing. We're trying to, you know, disguise everything that we're doing, and you know, whether it be knockouts or takedowns or anything else like that goes, like we have to be in our own mindset, our own state of mind, that nothing is going to stop us. And I would say in the lucha world, like we're working with people, we're working with great athletes as well to create something great for the fans. So, and also just being out there in the ring, it's like you need to really acknowledge the fans and almost feed off of what they're doing, off of what they're cheering for. You know, so just being in the moment for each little thing, whether as in the MMA world, let's say we throw some good combinations, and we're right to the next one. You know, to get what we want, and that's, you know, the knockout or the win. But in lucha, it's more like you do a move, you hear the fans, and you're almost just take that moment in, celebrate that moment, because that's when the people are up. You know, they're screaming, they're yelling, and you want to feed off of that. So in that moment, that's when you're kind of feeding off of it, and yeah, man, just giving the people a great show, working with someone one-on-one.
Right, absolutely. Now, Kane, you came to Mexico City for your first contest, and I know you did some things before that. What was it like coming to Mexico City for the first time, and what have you learned about this city through your experience and being here?
So going to the city my first time, going to Mexico City my first time, I was there promoting the UFC in general. I didn't have a fight. It was more so just to promote the UFC as a sport to different TV outlets, right? So it was me, Efrain Escudero also went with me, and we went to like every TV and news station that we could go to promote the UFC. At that time, it was very much thought as vale tudo, which is like everything goes, like type of sport, like pretty much like a street fight type of thing. And me and him were almost like the pioneers of telling, you know, educating the people of Mexico City to tell them, no, it's like this isn't anything goes. This is a legitimate sport. You know, we do have rules and regulations, and we're very much so like top athletes in this type of combat. So a lot of it was education. And going in, I definitely felt very much so like an outsider talking to people, a lot of people there, especially like a lot of the media people. Well, obviously, right? I mean, I'm from the US and everything else like that. But in my heart, like it's something else that I felt. I felt very much connected to the people already from a young age, from my parents. So that to me was just something different. But going there, the education, you know, type of thing, and for sure, you know, feeling like an outsider was definitely different, you know. And as the people got to know me, and as they got to see my career and what I was about, and that I was just very truthful, you know, to myself and to everybody else. Like, this is how I feel. I feel very connected to Mexico and the people there. And I just kept doing that and saying that. And, you know, before I fought, as I walked out to fight, I carried the bandana on my fist, you know, to represent like everybody is with me. Everybody Mexican is with me. We're all throwing the same punch together type of thing. You know, I always had the Mexican colors with me. So with that, it almost like turned people's, you know, thought of me around in a very positive way, in a way that I wanted people to see me. So
Right.
Now going to Mexico City, it's my favorite city to be in. It is, from everything from the culture, the food, just the people. I love it there. I do. I love to visit there.
Right? It's pretty amazing. And, you know, we had an event last year for the NFL, and a lot of Chargers fans came in, and a lot of Chiefs and they're Mexican-American, but had never thought about going to Mexico, thought it was terrifying for them to be there. And when they got there, realized that something about being homeland, like my patria, you know, like, and people just were thrilled to realize that there weren't people on the street with guns, like waiting to like kidnap them or shoot them. And just like crazy things people have in their mind, and realizing that it's a wonderful, beautiful, safe city. And I know by you being here and all of your followers and all the people, it really means a lot to people. And I think that's wonderful. We have about 1 minute left. And what I'd like to ask you is what's next? Like what's cooking? I know we're in COVID time and everything's paused, but you got some cool things happening, no?
I do. There's some great things that I really have been working on myself, and just things that I've seen throughout my career that I really wanted to put into making things happen. I'm working on a bunch of different stuff right now. I've been a fan of racing ever since I was a kid. So I'm thinking I'm doing a show right now where we'll get different people to come in and race against each other in the same car. So it's like it's more of a time trial type thing. I want to do something more with lucha, and that's more of a thing that's very. I'm gonna keep that on the hush right now, but pretty soon I think people will think it's very cool. But I'm doing something with lucha as well. So whether I come back wrestling or doing something even different, with that, that's my big project that I really want to showcase to the world.
That's great. Well, we hope you come down to Mexico more. Kane, as I said before, I think you're an inspiration to many Mexicans here in Mexico, because I know that when you've come to the restaurant, my team's gone nuts when seeing you there. They were so excited to have you on the show tonight, and we're looking forward to having you here soon. So sorry for the technical difficulties, but we have Kane Velasquez here, two-time UFC champion at the Pinche Gringo show. It's been amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you to everybody. Todos que están ahí en la Ciudad de México, muchísimas gracias por todo el apoyo. Y pues vamos a subir arriba, vamos a ir. Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Dan.
All right. And let's go now to the lovely, laughing, luxurious, any L's that I can possibly find for the Laila Garcia Mora, our Pinche Gringo show correspondent and also a commercial director for Pinche Gringo Barbecue. Laila, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? You're going to love this. I've been so excited for like half an hour smelling this. But we've got special for September. Fred Flintstone's going to love it. Oh, my goodness. It falls right off the bone on TV.
That's how we do the beef ribs.
Beef ribs, baby. Talk about this beautiful, luscious, this delicious meat, Laila.
Perfectly cooked, perfectly smoked beef ribs. And we have this available just for September. So we are at the beginning of the month. You have time to run to your nearest Pinche Gringo and buy 1 or 2 or 10 of these. How is it, Dan?
It's delicious, but why is it so good? Like, what's up?
Because it's a Pinche Gringo recipe, because it's an artisanal made beef rib, and we smoke this from 8 to 10 hours in our black torpedoes. And we do this just once a year because, as we say in Mexico, de lo bueno poco. And if you had more bones like that, you would be a threat to society.
Dogs would love it. So, like the pork rib bones are too small, and I'm always afraid the dogs are going to choke. But these are big.
Yes.
Okay, so all of September, you can get beef ribs from Pinche Gringo Barbecue. We have people all over the place, right? It's like the iPhone launch.
Like
the night before.
Like an old Star Wars movie. We have lines. We have a campamento outside the restaurants. We have people waiting and yelling for these beef ribs.
This is so good, Laila. This is awesome. All right. Also, we just finished our Barbecue for Heroes campaign. Earlier in the show, I talked about what was going on. Tell us a little bit more about that and how the campaign finished.
Well, we want to thank all the customers that help us with this campaign. We managed to deliver a total of 550 sandwiches. That it was a big success for us. And we have like a bittersweet thing with ending this campaign, because we would like to keep helping the medical professionals. The COVID's not over. Their work's not over. They're still working super hard. They're more prepared now, but they're still working super hard. But we feel proud of our team. We feel proud of our customers. 33% of those sandwiches were given by Pinche Gringo. So we have to be part of the society and part of the help and part of the solution.
Absolutely. Laila Garcia Mora, I love always this part of the show. Thank you for coming on again. Hope you're doing well, and get those beef ribs at Pinche Gringo, because October 1st, if you forgot, you're going to have to wait another year.
Dan,
unless there's an finale on it. I don't think that's going to happen.
An important thing, these beef ribs are only sold in our locations. We don't have them available in delivery. This is important because you have to go, you have to talk to them, and you have to choose your rib. So you have to fall in love with them.
Okay. Well, I'm sure people will. So thank you, Lila, for being on the show. That does it for the Pinche Gringo Show. I'm Dan DeFossi. Join us next week. We're going to have a special show. We have some special guests. I wish I can announce it tonight, but I can't. But it's going to be all about registering the vote, the elections. It's going to be a big show. Stay tuned next Thursday night, 9 p.m. Mexico Central Time. Always here. Thank you for joining us tonight. Pinche Gringo. Have a good night.
Pinche Gringo. Mexico is laughing thanks to you. We like to watch you dance salsa and listen to your bad Spanish too. We like to watch you almost die from spicy food.